Before I really started decluttering, I initially thought I just had some stuff that I had been holding on to that I just needed to let go of. But as I started going through it, I realized very quickly that the stuff wasn't just stuff. It was a reflection of my fears, my beliefs, some mindsets that I hadn't dealt with. When I finally unpacked what it meant and really understood what my clutter was saying about me and saying to me, it was such a game changer because one, I finally understood why I'd been holding on to things, why things were hard to let go, but then also learned to be able to let go of them. So if you're in this space where you know you're needing to declutter, you know you're needing to let go of things, after today, you're gonna know what all your extra stuff is saying to you so that you can start letting go of the clutter, not just in your home, but also in your mind, your emotions, your life. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Christy and I make content centered around realizing that no matter where we are in life, no matter our age, we are just on time to live the life of our dreams. A lot of you found me through my decluttering series where I was just real time getting rid of all of this foolishness that I have been carrying around for years. I have gotten so many positive responses to that journey and to one video in particular where I really unpacked the layers of decluttering. If you haven't seen it, I will link it down below so that you can watch it after this video. But I know the reason that that video did so well was because I took a completely different take on clutter and addressed the fact that it is more of a symptom of things that are going on in our lives, things that we're thinking, things that we're feeling, not just about the clutter itself. It's how my mind works, is what my channel is actually about, breaking free of these things that are getting in the way of our dream lives. If we don't deal with the root of things, we cannot get to the leveled up version of ourselves. We cannot get to the dream life that we're trying to get to. And for me, clutter was just one of those things. I realized that clutter is often a reflection of fear and avoidance, either being afraid of letting go, having a fear of failure, or avoiding dealing with an emotional pain. I would hold on to things because I might need them someday, or I was saving it for later, which we have definitely talked about, or because I was feeling guilty getting rid of them, or because letting go meant accepting that a phase of my life was over. Fear of letting go can show up as keeping things just in case. Fear of failure can show up as unfinished projects or unread books or workout gear that you've never used. Avoiding emotional pain can show up as sentimental clutter, holding on to gifts that you don't use, or things from a past version of yourself that you're afraid to release. If you're feeling overwhelmed by clutter, I want you to ask yourself, what am I really afraid of, or what is it that I'm avoiding? Once you know that, you can actually start to work through that. But if you never really understand what the root of it is or what's causing it, it can be really hard to move forward from it. For me, clutter used to be a way of either avoiding making some decisions or just not really wanting to deal with some old hurts. I told you that I lost both of my parents when I was in my 20s, and it was the catalyst for me holding on to all of this random stuff just because of the aftermath of what I was going through. Keeping a lot of things from my parents or things that I had when they were alive was a way for me to hold on to them and a way for me to not fully have to deal with the fact that they were gone. But it also was a fear that if I let go of their things, then I was forgetting about and letting go of them, or not using my good stuff and saving things for later, because I remembered a time after they had passed when I was very, very broke. Things were just really hard in life and I didn't want to go without. And so I was holding on to this mentality, even though my life situation changed, my finances had changed, I was in a much better, in a different place. But part of me was still holding on to this mentality, this mindset of, what if there's not enough? Those are the things that my clutter was saying about me. And it was telling me real time where I was thinking, oh, I look at this thing and I realize that I am feeling less because of this, or I'm stuck in this space, or I'm holding on to this fear-based or scarcity mindset because of XYZ. You have to figure out what your stuff is saying about you. I have gotten so many comments with people not wanting to deal with stuff, asking me how to deal with specific things. And I can't tell you how to do your specific thing. It is something that you have to deal with. You have to look at your stuff. You have to say, okay, I am holding on to this thing. Why am I holding on to this thing? What does it remind me of? If I let this go, what is that going to say? Am I going to miss it? Is this something that I actually want, or is this something that I'm just holding on to because I'm just scared of letting it go? I'm scared of dealing with it. I'm scared of the emotions that are attached to letting this particular item or set of items go. With that, I also learned that different types of clutter revealed different things about you. Those pieces of clutter actually give us clues about what are some of the things that are going on internally. Starting with paper clutter, piles of old bills, random notes, stacks of important paperwork that you never actually look at. These can be a sign of indecision or fear of missing something important. If this is you, try setting some weekly habit and toss papers. Something that so many of you guys resonated with was the fact that dealing with mail, I feel like mail is my nemesis. I cannot with mail. I don't like it. I don't like looking at it. I have to deal with mail pretty immediately because if I don't, then it won't get dealt with. I am probably one that will never like mail. But because I understand what is going on behind the mail, I can deal with it a lot more efficiently. And to be quite honest, usually my husband is the one who deals with it because I will still be the one who will like put it on the counter to eventually deal with it because I don't like it. Moving on to clothes that you never wear, things that don't fit, things that you don't like anymore, outfits that you bought for a life that you don't actually live. This can reflect a struggle with identity and fear of change. For these things, I want you to ask yourself, does it represent who I am today and who I want to be? If it doesn't, let it go. If you have overloaded storage spaces, whether that be an actual physical storage space that you pay for or just room in your house that is dedicated to storage of things that you don't really use. If you have boxes of just in case items or random gadgets or things that have not been touched in years, this might be a sign of a scarcity mindset, which is a belief that you have to hold on to things because you might not be able to replace them. That was something that I realized that I was dealing with big time. And to get out of that, I actually had to go through these things and either bring them out and start using them or be willing to get rid of them. The truth is that you will have what it is that you need when you need it, but you have to trust in that. If you don't believe that, then it's not going to happen. Start small and release one thing at a time. Something that's really helped me as a Christian is knowing that I serve a God who loves me and who wants the best for me. And so it is okay for me to let go of things that I'm not using, things that are not serving me, things that are not part of the plan and the purpose for my life. If at some point I need it, he will make sure that I have it. There's also sentimental clutter. Gifts that you feel guilty letting go of, old love letters, or things from a past season of your life that no longer fits who you are. This often reflects emotional attachment, guilt, or just difficulty with setting boundaries. The biggest thing that I had to learn and that I had to come to understand when I started decluttering was letting go of an item did not mean that I was letting go of the memory of them. It didn't mean that I was letting go of the person. I also had to understand that had my parents been here, they would look at me like, why are you holding on to all of this crap? You don't need this. I want you to move forward with your life. If you're dealing with just general messiness and disorganization, it could be an indication of feeling just mentally overwhelmed. The more chaos that you have in your mind, the more likely that's going to show up in your physical area. Your kitchen won't be clean, your bedroom won't be clean, you have clothes piled up everywhere, things will get dirty more easily, and the more it piles up, the more overwhelmed you get, and sometimes the more you don't deal with it. If this is you, I need you to start by identifying what's really making you feel overwhelmed, and then take one small action to clear it. And it can go both directions. You can be dealing with the physical thing while you're also dealing with the mental, emotional thing that's happening on the inside as well. Take one small space, clear it, then the next day take another small space until it happens. If you're in a space where things are completely disorganized and you're trying to do it all in a day, that's going to make you more overwhelmed. So you want to do it in a way that makes you the least stressed as possible. With dealing with the internal stuff, I like to do that during some quiet time. So whether that is me getting up in the morning and taking some time journaling or just thinking or going on a nice long walk, you have to take some time. If you're constantly busy, constantly moving, constantly doing things and never get any quiet time to actually be able to think and process, then you will continue to have both the internal clutter and the physical clutter. Now that we know what clutter can reveal about us, let's talk about how to actually use this information to move forward. There are 5 things that have really worked for me in this process. 1, step back and observe. A lot of times we just don't want to deal with things. And I remember very clearly being in that space where I had all of this stuff tucked away in pretty bins because I didn't want to see them. I didn't want to deal with them. I didn't want to think about them. And once I took a moment to step back and observe what those things were, I could more easily identify these are some of the types of things that I struggle with. For example, I used to hold on to all of these expensive makeup products and they would end up getting expired because I was so scared of using them from the scarcity mindset. So I had to deal with makeup very specifically. Ask why and keep asking. When you pick up an item, don't just ask, do I need this? You need to go deeper. Why do I feel the need to keep this? Why am I so tied to this? What emotions are coming up as a result of me holding on to this? Or why am I scared of letting it go? Use clutter as a tool for self-discovery. If your clutter is revealing fear, avoidance, or emotional baggage, use it as a guide to do the inner work. What are the limiting beliefs that you need to challenge? What are the mindsets that you've been holding on to that you need to let go? What are the previous experiences that you've had in your past that that are impacting who you are today. Declutter with intention. As you let go of the physical things, I want you to replace those old thoughts with new affirmations. Instead of saying, I might need this someday, I want you to say, I trust that I will always have what I need when the time comes. And then finally, celebrate small wins. We so often underestimate the power of doing one thing, the power of just showing up. But even just clearing out one drawer can completely shift your energy. Change happens one small thing at a time. It doesn't happen in these huge, big overhauls. While those are nice and it would be lovely if we could just do that and call it a day, many times it just happens through the small, consistent actions that we take on a daily and on a routine basis. I cannot say this enough. Clutter is not just about stuff. It's about what's going on inside of us. Once you start listening to what the clutter is telling you and actually start dealing with that, you can clear the space for peace and clarity and the life that you actually want to live, the life that God has designed for you. So here's my challenge to you. I want you to look around your space. Yes, right now. I want you to look around, see where you have things. I'm doing this myself because we actually need to do a little bit more decluttering as well. As you're looking around, I want you to ask yourself, what type of clutter do you struggle with the most? And what do you think it's really saying about you? Drop it in the comments. I think it's really important for us to hold each other accountable in a really kind and positive way. And I'm not going to leave you to do it alone. I will drop mine in as well. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate if you would give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel. It also helps YouTube to know this is some good stuff. We need to share it with the world. Also, if you're not subscribed, girl, what are you doing? I'm gonna need you to jump on that. All right, my loves, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Mwah! Bye for now.